Yes, so welcome back. So today's session I will be completing chapter 9 and a few more left out things are chapter 10 is left out and few concepts of chapter 6 files and file organization. Once these two chapters are done, will be starting out the revision. We'll revise first all the three question papers what I have sent in the group, 2 mark and 5 marks wise. I'll be sending you some after two more video content. I'll be sending set of questions for 2 marks for OS as well as for Unix. So start learning and by then complete your records. We'll have a live session also. You can clarify the doubts if at all you have. Just make a note of all your doubts and live session you can clarify the doubts. So in the last class we'll just recall what we have covered. So chapter 9 is entirely dealing pure about all your Unix commands, whatever grep command, scd command. And the last class I was talking about process state diagrams. I told you it is an important question. Already we have learned the process state diagrams. Here it is called as process transition diagram in Unix. Last class I winded up with the different types of process, foreground process and background process. So now let's move to, and also I was discussing about zombie and orphan process. So whenever a process is created that is called as your parent process, parent process will be generating an ID called PPID, that is parent process ID. Following through that, any parent process is created. Along with that, there will be a child process automatically being created. So when a child process is killed, so immediately parent process will be getting an update. It will pass an update using a signal command, SIGCHLD command, which informs that child process is killed. So either the parent can do any other task or again create a new child. If a parent process is killed and the child process will not be alive, since the parent is already killed, this child process is called as orphan process. Whichever process that is killed, if it is in the still in the list, it is still inside the mode, then it is called as, it is in the process is in the Z state. So this is called as zombie. A dead process is called as zombie process. So in this today's session I'll be discussing about process related commands and process scheduling command, process communication commands and memory related commands. Different types of commands are there for Unix for different operations. So first command we are going to see is process related commands. So process related commands, it goes from PS, NOHUP, nice, renice, stop and time. So we have 6 sets of process related commands. So PS stands for process status, NOHUP stands for no hang up, nice, renice and TOP and time. So process status, it will display what is the current status of the process, what is the current ID of that whichever process is running in the system, what is the current ID, what is the time, what type of command is launched by the process. Complete details can be known if I'm going to use PS command. We'll see first one is your PS command. So it displays whatever items or current process and all the properties of that commands. So PID stands for, that is your process ID. It will also show in which terminal the current process is executing and what is the time taken by that process to how much time is being utilized by that, the CPU utilization by that particular process will also be known using this PS command. I'll also have an example how the PS command will look like. The moment you give PS, it will show the following details will be displayed. CMD is nothing but the name of the command that has been launched by the process. As you know, Unix we have different types of command, bash, she, that is corn shell based on bash and all, and in which shell we are doing the command, from where the commands have been fetched. The details will be displayed if I use PS command. This is about process status command. The next command is NOHUP. NOHUP, it stands for no hang up, that is the meaning of no hang up. So it will send the hang up signal will be sent. Normally it will be sent to a process. It will inform that to the Unix system that the user has logged off or user has logged off from the particular system. So and it allows other process to continue execution. When imagine there is one particular supercomputer, that is the main computer, and different other computers are been connected to that. So supercomputer will always get a message who is logging inside the system, how long they were using, what how much time they have spent in the CPU. Complete data can be got using all this Unix command in the, and highly it is secure compared to any other operating system. So this is a use of NoHUP. Suppose the user has logged off from the system, I can get all the outputs of that system in a separate file, that is NoHUP .out, that is output file will be created. All the output will be redirected to that particular command. So next command is about nice command. Nice command, it has lot of significance in Unix. That is very important. You know, Unix can run multiple processes at a time. So if you're going to run multiple processes at a time, obviously a system's performance will be less. So there will be some process which has to be given highest priority, but in spite of running the multiple process, even that is not given proper priority. How to set a priority? Then you will be using a nice command. Nice command will give high priority to the process, and then it will not result in the poor performance. So that particular process priority can be enhanced using nice command. So how to give or how to set the priority? So for example, you have P1 to P10. P5 is having highest priority. So 5, so you know process 5 is having the highest priority. So here we have some set of integer values. The values ranges from -20 to +90. This is how the values go. So -20 denotes the highest priority, whereas your 19 represents the lowest priority. By default, any process that gets inside the queue, it will have 0 value. So based on the priority, you can set the execution of the process. So next command we have is renice. So already you have set a priority using nice command. You want to make some changes or change in the priority, I can make changes using renice. Next command we have top and time. The stop command is a very interesting command in your Unix operating system. As soon as you give the stop command, it will display all the set of process which have been active in your system, which have been continuously been executed. What is the mode of that? Everything, including your hardware, your drivers, operate everything whichever is active in your system can be taken using the top command. This is not possible with any other like in a Windows operating system. You cannot get all the sets of commands and all, but using the Unix this facility of shell coding, you can get which all process, what all the activities are happening inside it. It will display to 2 pages, like you can see if provided we have in lab classes. So the time, it is used to display the current date and time, who's using the system, how many users are connected to the system, how long they have been logged in. All the details can be got using time command. The next command we have skill command. How to terminate a process? So termination of a process is using kill command. If you give kill and that particular process ID, the process will be killed or terminated or destroyed. So process id in suppose there is a user id 0010003. I want to deny the access 003, so I can sit in a this is called server maintenance or network administrator's job. So sitting in the system, I can deny the permission for that particular user. So next we have different types of commands. So starting from process scheduling commands, memory related commands, process communication commands. So we'll see step by step what are the different commands. So scheduling commands, we have first one is your process scheduling. How to schedule a process, and how scheduling in the sense obviously which time, which date, which process, which hour, which week, like that I can schedule each and every process. So we have three different commands to schedule. So first command is at. At command, it will schedule a command to be run. A particular command I want to run once a particular time, or like when I'm giving a permission to run, that particular command has to be run at 10 o'clock, or particular program has to be run at or if I have to set a reminder in the system, like it is a complex script, I want to teach the matrix program or something, shell coding, I want to set a reminder in my system, I can use at command. So that is inside the program itself, I can code like at 10 o'clock I want to execute this command automatically, or execute the complete program and explain to students. So I can schedule using at command. Next is batch command. It is used to read the commands from a standard input. I can make a set of files or set of batch files, club it together. If I want to execute that and like complete files one by one, in that case I can use batch command. Next one important one is con tab. It is called as a con table, con table. So it is used to list the commands. Here I can schedule which minute of the day, which hour, which day, which week. I can schedule when to display the command, when the file has to be executed. I can set the time accordingly. So I'm going to the next topic, that is memory related commands. In memory related commands we have three different commands. Memory means we are going to deal with what is the amount of storage used by the command, what is the amount of storage left out. Suppose if I want to delete any particular portion in the disk, what should I do? So here we are dealing with mainly hard disk of your computer, hard drive of your computer. So what are the memory related commands? So first command we have it as du command. So this du command is mainly used to track whichever files or directories, whether the any space is available, what is the memory utilized by that particular directory, or like particular drive. I can tell like C drive, D drive. I can give the command du slash, if it is desktop it will tell what is the amount of space utilized by the complete desktop, and it will also tell what is the amount of space available, freely available. So next is df command. It is also similar to du command, a slight difference. It will report only the free disk space on the file system, not the occupied space. The next is your free command. It is used to that is show the free or used memory inside the RAM on your Unix system. The other things are dealing with the hard disk of the computer, whereas this free command will talk about the RAM memory, that is random access memory in your Unix system, if there is any free space or used memory space inside the RAM of your system. So next I am going to the next topic, that is a process communication commands. We have different process communication commands, how to communicate from one process to another. So when we sit in a system of 10 people and there is a supercomputer which is monitoring us, these 10 people are called as process, 10 processes. So I want to communicate the supercomputer, so I must have some commands how to communicate with each process in this system. So there can be inter process communication, that is communication between each process, not only with the supercomputer. So we have some following sets of commands. So first one is write command. So this write command, it is an utility command, so it allows the communication between two different users. So one user is interacting with the other user, he can also copy the lines from his system or from his terminal window to the other systems. Also we can share the data, that is the use of write command. Talk is similar to write command, but this promotes a visual communication program. It is also capable of copying the lines from your terminal to the other user. So almost it is similar to your WhatsApp services or in your messenger services. Instantly you can send and receive message using talk. So it is like a visual communication. It means because there is a communication happens instantly, at the same time that you will get the reply as well. This is, you will be having an visual communication field. The next is your MESG command. So MESG, it is used to control whether the user should use the system, or he can send the message, or he can write the message to anyone, or he can talk to anyone. This controlling is given by MESG command. So it, that controlling in the sense it has the permission settings like yes or no. Either it can deny whether the person can send the message, or whether the person cannot send the message. I can give the priority like yes or no. Permissions can be granted using MESG command. Next is wall command. Wall is nothing but it is used to write to all, or I can, it gives an facility. This is like supercomputer. This is only super user or supercomputer. He is the one who is going to display some message which will be reflected in all other systems. So that is the use of this wall, and he is given like access. The super user is given the access who should write on the wall, or that is who should share the content, who should view the content, who all can display the content. This can be set using wall command. If I'm going to give wall and shut down, in that case I can shut down all the complete system by being a super user. Clear? So next is your mail command, the last topic of this session. So mail command is simple. It allows the user to send the message, that is send the emails, that is read the emails, delete the emails. All those things can be done using mail command. So how to use this mail command? You can write mail, and you can write a subject inside that, to particular user's mail id, and you can just send the file name, whichever file you want to share with that particular user, and then it will be received in their email, or like whatever you want to send. Just using the command itself you can mail to the user. So you'll be following with your mail command, and then space whatever the mail subject you want to give. So we have different options for mail command. We have options like S, small letter S. It denotes it is an subject which you are going to attach to your mail. So if you want like C, C, B, C, C and all, we have C and B. That is, if you open your Gmail, you can see CC, that is carbon copy, blind carbon copy. If you want to send it to multiple persons, and if you want to send multiple persons but they should not know to whom all you have sent, in that way you can have CC and BCC. um, so how to generally we mail a person? We'll go to Gmail, compose and all the things. Instead you can have a mail command with a subject, and your C, there we have an option called C. C is for carbon copy. So you can, that is a place where you can type the user's mail id, some username at the rate of gmail.com, then space. If you have two or more user, you can have a space, and have a blind carbon copy and one more mail id. Else, with that you can send the file whichever you want to share it with that particular user. You can share it. It can be a text file, it can be a shell coding script using your mail command. So just concentrate on process transition diagram. In chapter 9, few important questions are: what are the different types of process used in Unix? So it will be for your 5 mark questions. So, and what are the different types of file related commands in Unix? So what are the different ways to create a file? So just have a look on that. So apart from that, so you must also learn what are the different status of process in the Unix, and what is Unix system architecture from the previous portion. The super block, in node block, even that is important, and grep command is important in this chapter, and what is a process and state transition diagram of process is very very important in this chapter. So with this I'll wind up the session. So 2 more classes, your Unix portions will be completed, then we'll have the revision classes. This is about, yes, keep learning. Okay, thank you guys.